Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Within the overall meta that we have here in Warzone 2 right now, there's a ton of different options you can use in terms of competitive weapons, as we've talked about in recent videos and tier lists and whatnot. But today, I wanted to focus on 5 ridiculously powerful, some would say overpowered weapons that you can use that'll absolutely dominate. And we are starting first with a bit more of a controversial take, if you will. We've got a shotgun on the list. Now, I myself, not a big fan of shotguns. I don't really love to use them. I say that, but it's kind of like an evil laughter type moment. I really hate when they're used against me. In particular, the Bryson 800 here is one that up close is going to be absurd. Now, yes, within, 5 meters or so, this is overpowered. Within 10 meters, this is really strong. It's a shotgun though, so it's very well balanced after that range where it's not supposed to be ridiculously good, but where it is good, it fries. I'm sure you've seen some clips recently. I've seen some clips of like people getting collat one shot because they get a headshot with the shotgun here. Like, this thing is wildly strong in Warzone right now. The setup here, shout out to Gumi, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He's the shotgun lord, if you will. This is definitely something that he'd recommend here with these attachment setups. Are very similar to what he's got going on there. So first up, I go for the sawed-off mod. This is going to just give you better mobility, better ADS, better sprint to fire. Super crucial for, closing that gap when you're trying to get within that, 10, 5, 3 meter range where it could potentially one shot, right? I've got the tactical pump on here, which is for that faster rechambering speed, aka that better fire rate. And I go ahead and I tune this for that max sprint to fire and also slightly better walking steadiness as well. We got the shark fin underbarrel on here. This is meant for stability, but basically you just get free stats out of this with a slightly better walk speed and a slightly better ADS speed as well. And then I got the Bryson improved choke on there. That's going to help out with the damage range a bit. Obviously, you want the best range possible so we can potentially one-shot players. Also helps out with the pellet spread, and you can really tune this in either direction here for the pellet spread or the sprint to fire. It just comes down to how you want the weapon to feel. Then I go for max damage range as well. Then lastly on there, we got the 7 milliwatt laser for that faster ADS speed and sprint to fire as well. This thing up close is going to be lethal. It doesn't have much range though. Like, even if we were to go into the firing range, you guys can see here the first dummy, it'll take 2 shots to kill this, but in game, if you're within 5 meters or so, and if you're in a building, if you're in a close range fight whatsoever, this thing is going to obliterate enemies. And in theory, if you wanted to, you could always drop something on here, maybe the shark fin, try out the slugs and see if that damage is more your style, where it can actually one shot at a further distance. Something to take into consideration. Next up here, we've got the RAPP. Also, just a little sneak peek towards the end of the video. You might want to stick around. There might be a new surprise at the end. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the RAPP here, I'm not gonna lie, it's a gun that I gave a bad rap initially. You see what I did there? I just asked you guys to stay till the end of the video. That pun probably is not helping my case. But anyways, the RAPP is an absolute beast. For mid-range, it's incredibly overpowered. If you are within like 40 meters or closer, this thing is going to shred. Now, the reason that over long range, it's not necessarily as consistent is because the fire rate and the recoil here can be a bit awkward and a bit obnoxious just because it's so fast to fire and the recoil is a little bit sporadic here. It's definitely more difficult than some other choices, but when you do land your shots with this thing, it is wild. I've been using this thing for the past couple of days and I'm really seriously enjoying it. So here, first up, I go for the Slogger 3.4 times. You guys know by now, this is my go-to optic. I love this thing. We're of course tuning this for the furthest eye position. If you have an optic that you like more, maybe it's a blue dot, maybe it's the AIM-OP optic. If that's the case for you, feel free to use that optic and just tune it the same, basically. We got the Lockman TCG grip on here for that better control. That'll keep the recoil a little bit easier. We tune this for better stability, and keep in mind, stability is a huge factor in a lot of fights this year, so we definitely want to pay attention to that. Also for better steadiness as well. I go ahead and throw on high velocity ammo here. I tune that for the best range and best velocity. Basically, again, some free stats, if you will, which is not too shabby. I go for the BO52 grip. This is for better steadiness, better stabilization, better stability in general as well. So this thing is really, really consistent. I tune this for slightly better stabilization and slightly better stability as well. So we're getting a lot out of this underbarrel. Then I also got the KASTOV DX90 muzzle. This is a suppressor that helps out with control and velocity as well. It's not hurting your range or anything, so that's actually a really solid option there. And we tune this for slightly better smoothness or ADS, like either or will work just fine there. Then I go for the slightly better velocity on there as well. This thing is spicy. If we were to go into the firing range here, you guys will see, I mean, easy to use and it absolutely fries. The thing is insane. Now, before we move on into our next overpowered weapon, just want to remind you guys that if you're new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with news, updates, class setups, loadouts, tips, everything that you need to know between MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ is right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. We'd love to have you join the family. And if you guys enjoy this video, or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Also, the holidays are coming up. If you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift, the perfect stocking stuff, or whatever the case may be, Gamer Advantage has you covered. They offer prescription or regular lenses, so it's perfect for anybody, whatever your case may be. They got a ton of different lens options as well, some really new stylish ones that just dropped with the Horizon frames, which personally are my favorites. They got a lot of options and a lot of customization there for you. If you ever want to pick up a pair for yourself, code Immortal at checkout will save you a nice chunk of change that, hey, maybe you could put towards another gift as well. Moving on though, next up we've got the Taq-V battle rifle. This thing is also a powerhouse, and just like the RAPP, maybe not the easiest to use in terms of recoil, but after you master it, where you figure out where it works, which mainly is, again, like mid-range, we're talking like 25 to 50, 60 meters there, same deal as the RAPP, it's gonna fry there because the thing is just such a powerhouse. It's going to absolutely rip through opponents. So here again, Schlager 3.4 times optic, tuning that for that furthest eye position once more. I go for the combat grip, better control on here as well, just like back on the RAPP, and I tune for better steadiness and slightly better stability here as well. I do use the 30 round mag. This thing comes stock with 20, and that's just not enough for honestly even solos, especially because you are probably going to miss a few shots when spraying this thing because the recoil is a bit tougher. You definitely want to have that extended mag on there. I got the phase 3 grip, which helps out with stability and stabilization, and then I tune that for even better stabilization and better stability as well. If you wanted to, if you use this and you're like, okay, it still bounces around a little bit much for my liking, go for maybe a larger underbarrel in that case. Go all the way towards the end here. There are a few good choices with the Bruin Warrior, with the Bruin Backdraft. Both of those will help out with steadiness as well. So you could experiment there and see what works well for you. And then also I use the KASTOV suppressor on here yet again for that better control and velocity, tuned for slightly faster ADS, then slightly better velocity on there as well. We go into the firing range with this thing, mid-range. The thing, especially if you hit a headshot, like, it is wild. Now, long range, you'll notice, yeah, the control's a little bit more bouncy, but if you're focused in mid-range, it's a solid choice. Now, the RPK is a weapon that we've talked about several times already. I've actually gone through and adjusted my setup as of late, and I like it a lot more than what I was initially using. Both choices are good, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's just the RPK in general. This thing is a very, very reliable weapon, arguably #1 in the game, but this new setup here is even easier to use, and that's what I love about it. So you're gonna land shots more consistently, and in turn, fry players even easier. So surprise, surprise, yet again, I got the Schlager on there tuned for that furthest eye position. Rinse and repeat that on every single gun. I'm actually dropping the barrel in this case. I am still using the Puller Fire S muzzle here. That said, you could experiment around with the KASTOV if you wanted to. Like, this is a really good suppressor for what it's worth. But for the Puller Fire, I'm still running slightly faster ADS here in this case, and then also max velocity essentially. I go for the Lock Grip Precision under barrel for that better steadiness. Then I tune that for basically max ADS speed and max hip walking speed. So you're getting good control and some added mobility out of that, which is super nice. High velocity ammo on here, tuned for max range and max velocity. Gonna make the hit reg feel nice and consistent. Then I go for the Demo X2 grip, better control on here, tuned for better steadiness and better stability yet again. So it's gonna be nice and reliable, super easy to use, and in turn, you're gonna dominate with it. Again, we hop into the firing range here. Absolutely just dominates, and it shoots super, super straight. You mount and like the thing's not gonna move, right? It's super easy to shoot, super easy to control. And then lastly here we got the 7.62 KASTOV, the AK rifle. Again, I've talked about this one a few times. I have gone through and adjusted the setup as well, and I'm really liking how it feels now. So once more, the Schlager 3.4. I had to stop it there because it rhymed. Again, tuned for furthest eye position. We got the Demo X2 on here as well for the better steadiness and better stability tunes that just make it super easy to shoot. 40 round mag here, no need for high velocity. The velocity by default is honestly pretty solid. We got the phase 3 under barrel for that better stabilization again, and then we go ahead and tune this for even better stabilization and better stability as well. So this thing's gonna just shoot straight and be super easy to use. Then again, we got the KASTOV suppressor on there, tuned for slightly better smoothness or ADS, either direction here, and then also better velocity as well. So really, really liking how this setup feels. Now again, no barrel. You could use the 584 like I have been recently, and it's gonna be a bit slower. You'll get slightly better range out of here, but honestly, I didn't notice much of a difference when I changed to this setup here because the stability is just so good, the control is so good. It's a laser beam. And again, mid-range, it's a laser beam. Long range, it's a laser beam, and you'll see that sway not really there, so that's not going to affect your recoil at all. The thing is absolutely insanely powerful. So all that being said, those are 5 of the most powerful weapons to use here in Warzone 2 and the best setups for them. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you guys are new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you can always guarantee you are up to date with the latest going on in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. But that's going to wrap things up for this one. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.